Hey, I'm going to say this is going to be my first work with me session since I've started this. Since I've started this challenge. I'm always going to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Adina, and I am a digital entrepreneur, software developer, and I've built a lot of digital businesses, specifically digital product businesses and service-based businesses, creating written content for clients and stuff like that. And on this channel, I'm really talking about building digital product businesses using identity shifting and strategy. That's what I mostly talk about on this channel. So a combination of digital business and manifestation, like combined together. And I also talk about just generally making money online. But today I'm going to be working for the majority of this stream. I've got a few things to do. I've got 3 articles to post. These articles just need to be edited, and I'm going to post 2 of the articles on me. Sorry, on no, I've got 4 articles to post. I'm going to post 1 article on vocal media. No, 2 articles on vocal media, and one on Medium and one on my blog. I need to get those done. They're pretty much done. I just need to edit them. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to work on an ebook that I'm doing. I'm working on an ebook called, well, I haven't really thought of the name of the ebook, but the topic of the ebook is neuroscience and making money online, talking about how you can rewire your brain in order to make more money from digital business, and strategies that you can take and steps that you can take. So the strategies that you can use and steps that you can take to rewire your brain to help you to make more money, specifically from digital business. And there are certain things that I do on a daily basis that actually help with that. And so that's what the e-guide is going to be about. So I'm in the planning phase of that e-guide at the moment. So today I'm just going to be working. Normally when I first start my work, I go through the things that I need to get done with. I normally have a list, and I do something called a Pomodoro, which is 25 minutes of focused work, and then I'll take a break. So I'm actually going to set the Pomodoro timer. So I'm going to do 25 minutes of focused work. So this is what I do before I start my work. This is what I do before I start my work every day. I do 10 minutes of affirmations, either writing out affirmations or I type out the affirmations, and then I will look at the things I need to do for the day, and then I'll start working. Today I'm not going to do my affirmations on camera because I want to get on with this work. I can just affirm in my head. And I've set my 25-minute timer. Set my 25-minute timer, and I'm going to start working. Just need to publish 4 articles. Hello, hi. Where are you from? Adeline, where are you from? OG Flex, where are you from? But I'm going to be focused on work right now. I don't know if you guys work on weekends. I don't know where you guys are based. I'm based in the UAE and I work 7 days a week. I do take breaks, but I work 7 days a week, especially when I'm working on something specific. So yeah, I'm good. How are you? I'm working today. This session is going to be a work with me session. If you guys want to do some work as well, that's great. Cool. Where are you based? I'm based in the UAE. United Arab Emirates, where I am. Where are you? Let's get this work. You know what? I think I might have to start this timer again. I think I'm going to start the timer again because it was already running before I started working. Don't you just hate when you have a million tabs up? I've got so many tabs up. I just want one tab. So the one I'm working on, actually two tabs, three tabs. The one I'm working on, my research one and my um, timer one. Okay. What am I doing? I'm working. I've got 4 articles to publish. They're done already, but I'm just going to edit them and publish them. I post articles every day, at least 2 articles every day to promote my digital products. I sell digital products. I sell digital products and I sell digital products and services. And I also mentor people if they want to learn how to make money online with digital products. But on the side, I'm a software developer on the side. That's a side hustle. But today it's all about putting my articles up, publishing my articles. I'm very consistent, so I do 2 articles a day, 7 days a week by drop shipping. Okay, I don't really know much about drop shipping. I don't know much about drop shipping. I write articles to promote my digital products. I have a business where we create articles for clients, for companies. Yeah, articles, writing. No, I don't have a dog. That's a great question. I don't have a dog. No, no dogs. In my family house in Ghana, we do have dogs and cats, but I don't live in Ghana. We have 2 dogs and I don't even know how many cats now, maybe 3 or 4 cats. But I don't live in Ghana now, but I used to have. So I'm just answering someone's question. Yeah, sorry, I had to put it on mute because of some noise in the background. Yeah, so the person who said that they have a dog, that's nice. Lucky, that's really nice. Yeah, ordinary fan, yeah, articles. I create articles. I mostly write articles basically to promote my digital products and to promote my services, to promote my digital products and my services, and also to promote my. I have a club that I've created. It's like a Discord group, and it's for people that want to work online, remote tasks. So I'm always writing, always. I don't go a day without writing. But right now, I'm just publishing. So that's what I'm doing today. So what does everybody do on this stream? What do you do for work, or what do you do? And where are you based? I'm writing an article called The Identity Shift from Struggling Freelancer to Abundant Creator. This article is actually something that I'm going to make a video from as well. I think I've got about 15 minutes left of this. That's a very, you don't ask questions like that to ladies. You don't ask that kind of question. How old are you? Okay, I think I'll scarcity and good and abundant. Okay, can't say. Well, then you shouldn't ask yourself then if you can't say. I'm writing an article. Well, I've just finished the article. The article was already done. I'm just publishing it. You see, consistency is the name of the game when you're building a digital business. If you can't stay consistent, then you might as well quit, because consistency is the thing that's going to drive your business from struggle mode to abundance. You know, you really, if you're building something, you want to stay consistent. It doesn't have to be daily, but it has to be consistent. So even if it's 3 times a week, you need to be consistent. Can you hear the call to prayer? I'm based in the UAE, so call to prayer is always happening. So if you can hear the call to prayer, that's what it is. So where's everyone based? Perception and income. Repeated thoughts. I think after this stream, I'm going to talk about the neuroscience of self-perception and income. Is anyone on here actually creating content, or you just here? Are you just a consumer of content? Cool, bye. Today is more a day of just working. I'm just going to work. I'm not really going to be teaching anything or giving any tips on anything really. I'm just going to be working and just talking. So let me tell a really quick story about when I first started. When I first started as a freelancer, I was working on a platform called Upwork. Excuse me. and I was really struggling to get work. And I decided to just quit, like stop searching for work. And when I stopped searching for work, that is when something just came into my inbox, and it was a really, really big contract. And I hadn't had any experience on Upwork. I had no clients on there. No one had ever hired me. I had no reviews. But for some reason, this person messaged me out of the blue and said, "Hey, I saw your portfolio and I want you to work on this project for me." I ended up working for that person for 5 years. He was a business owner in Australia. Okay, that's fine. He's a business owner in Australia, and he hired me on a retainer basis for a good 5 years. And I used to write blog posts for him, articles for him, um, Pinterest captions, and other things. And for 5 years, I worked with him. It was a steady income. But the message for this is that when you stop chasing, that's when things come. That's when the breakthroughs happen. When you stop chasing, when you stop forcing outcomes, things just start to overflow. And that's what happened with me. I was constantly sending out proposals, asking people, even reducing my prices so low to encourage people to take on my services, and I wasn't getting anything. And I just decided to stop. I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop. And I started blogging and posting my own content and just forgot about trying to look for clients. And that client came to me without me doing any work at all. I didn't do anything for that person. I didn't even apply for the work. He just came to me. So the message is stop chasing, stop chasing, and embody the person that is making the kind of money that you may want to make. Step into that character of that person. So if you want to make $5,000 a month, step into the character of that person. Believe that you can achieve that. Take some form of inspired action every day, but it doesn't have to be anything crazy. So, for example, if you want to build a freelance business, you want to send out a couple of proposals a day, and you want to put a bit of content out there every day, and believe that you are that person that receives consistent clients and money from your business. And you don't have to force outcomes. You just need to remain calm and take the necessary steps every single day, and trust me, you'll see results eventually. You should never force outcomes. Always believe that breakthroughs are always coming. Always believe that breakthroughs are coming. Always believe that if you put in some effort, it doesn't have to be some crazy thing, and you 100% believe that the effort that you are putting in is going to reap some fruits, trust me, you're going to see results. One of the reasons why some people struggle with building a digital business is self-concept. You might not believe that you deserve it. And this is one of the things that I'm talking about in my ebook that I'm writing. I'm talking about self-concept and building a digital business. And when you have a low self-esteem and your self-concept is low, you're going to accept anything that anyone throws at you. And you're always going to be stressed out because you're going to overwork yourself. And not in a good way where you're doing the work that you love, and so you feel like you can't stop, because that can happen sometimes, where you love the work you're doing so much that you don't even want to stop because you're always in flow. You're always in a flow state when you're working. But if you're overworking yourself and you're forcing outcomes, often you don't see the results of it. If you're new, I'm doing a challenge, 30 days of live streams And it's part of my 33-day challenge as well that I'm doing, posting content twice a day and saying my affirmations. And this is to build my business back up to a level that it was a few years ago, and then it kind of dipped. My business dipped, and then I've had to like build it back up again. And that's the nature of business. Your business could be going really well, and then it can just kind of go down, and then you have to work it back up again. And often businesses can crash because of your self-concept and because of your self-beliefs, because of the beliefs that you have about your business and about yourself. So if you start working on your self-concept as you're doing all the stuff, posting the content, whatever it is you're doing, over time you'll start to see results. And you know, there's a bit of a misconception that people that have been successful in business, that they're always in some kind of high frequency mode all the time, and that if things go wrong for them, they just instantly, you know, get back on track. It's not always the case. You might go through a period of time of kind of self-reflection, or a period of time of feeling really down, and you just can't put in the work that you were putting in before. And I went through that period of time where I couldn't work as much as I was working before, because I felt sort of anxious. And I find that when I'm feeling like that and I want to get back on track, a challenge is always the thing that helps me to get back on track. Anyway, let me talk about self-concept, and building a digital business. You know, your self-concept determines how consistently you show up. So if you see yourself as someone trying, your actions stay tentative. So, you know, if you see yourself as a business owner or a creator, showing up becomes non-negotiable. Then consistency follows identity, not motivation. So if you're someone who just keeps on saying, I'm an aspiring creator, I'm an aspiring business owner, you're not owning up to the fact that you are a creator or you are a business owner. Often you're just always in trying mode. So when you're always in trying mode, you never see results, because you're always just trying and trying and trying. But you need to be someone who accepts that you are that person. So you're a creator, and therefore the actions that you're going to need to take as a creator, they're going to become non-negotiable. It's not going to be like, well, today I'm just not in the mood. If you set it that you're going to do this daily, or you're going to do it 3 times a week, you're going to do it 3 times a week like it's law. So, for example, if you identify as someone who works in a coffee shop, a barista, you might work at Starbucks or something like that, you're not going to go to work and just sort of stand around and not make coffee, because that's your job. So if you're identifying as a creator, it's non-negotiable to create content. It's non-negotiable to get out there and interact with people. It's non-negotiable to come up with ideas. So you can't just keep saying, oh, you know, I'm trying to be a creator, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. You have to do the thing. And when you identify, this is the reason why identity and self-concept is so important, because when you identify as that thing, what happens is it becomes non-negotiable. It's not an option. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with people that are either on a similar path, or they're sort of higher than you in terms of where they are at in their journey. Because when you say to someone, oh, do you know what, I have to go because I have to go and do my live stream, or I have to go because I have to go and publish content, they're not going to be like, oh, you know, you're always leaving, you're working too much. They're going to be like, okay, cool, good. Let me know when you're done, or get some rest when you're done. You know what I mean? They're not going to be kind of angry because you're working. They're going to be cheering you on. They're going to be giving you encouragement. But when you spend time with people that are not on the same wavelength as you, what happens is they can drag you down into the habits that they are used to, because they're not doing the same thing. I'm not saying they should be doing exactly the same thing as you, but they don't have a vision for their lives. And so often when your self-concept is low, you end up hanging around with people that are not for you. And that can also affect your progression when it comes to building something. Sometimes isolation is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Isolation and doing a challenge, especially when you are feeling anxious, down, stressed, you don't know what to do next, you don't know what your next step is in terms of building a business. You want to just lock in and go and isolate yourself and do a challenge. Next thing is that you make decisions in alignment with who you believe you are. So pricing your products, visibility, offers and boundaries all reflect your self-concept. So when you identify as an inexperienced or unworthy freelancer or creator, you undercharge and you hesitate. So when your identity stabilizes, decisions become clearer and faster. Another thing that your self-concept shapes is it shapes how you handle uncertainty and slow growth. Digital businesses involve delayed feedback. So when you first start, especially when you first start, you are probably not going to see much results in the beginning. But someone who has a fragile self-concept turns quiet periods into self-doubt, but a grounded self-concept allows you to stay steady without needing constant validation. Let me just finish this work. It's supposed to be work with session. Actually, the article that I'm writing is called The Identity Shift from Struggling Freelancer to Abundant Creator, Letting Go of Scarcity Thinking and Building a Creative Life Rooted in Trust, Consistency and Value. That's the article that I'm writing and I'm publishing it. I'm publishing it on Vocal Media. If I remember, I'll leave the link for the article in the description. Let me read a part of the article. So this is what an abundant creator identity looks like. An abundant creator does not rely on constant motivation or reassurance from others. Their identity supports consistency and clarity. It's interesting because when you think about social media platforms are sort of built around this idea of getting likes and views and comments and engagement and all of that. And so when you're a creator, you want to see those things. And that's almost like proof that you're doing well as a creator. But when you have a high self-concept, when you really believe in yourself, those things don't really matter and you keep creating anyway. But often people quit or creators quit because they don't see massive views, they don't see lots of likes, they don't see lots of engagement. And so they just say, oh, it's not working, they just quit. What's really interesting is that sometimes those things do not equate to success. You can have all the likes in the world and then maybe not making any money out of it in terms of like you might not be selling products. You might be making money from like the YouTube partner program or TikTok creator program, but you might not be making money from products that you're selling yourself, products that you've made yourself or created yourself. So in the beginning, especially, you don't want to use likes and views and all that as a measurement of your success. You want to look at what you're putting in and measure your success by your input and what you're actually putting in. So, am I publishing content on a regular basis? Am I doing it maybe 2 to 3 times a week? Am I sticking to my plan? Am I doing what I said I was going to do? So you set yourself a challenge of 30 days. Are you doing that challenge or are you just messing around? Hi. Hi, Rosa. Real Rosa. Where are you from? So this identity is characterized by clear boundaries around time and energy, pricing decisions made without apology, viewing income as a result of systems rather than luck, and tolerating uncertainty without panic. So when your self-concept is high, by the way, I'm reading from an article that I'm writing about identity and building a creator business or brand. So going from someone who has a very low self-concept when it comes to being a creator or a digital business owner to becoming an abundant creator by shifting your identity. When it comes to building your self-concept for success, in building a digital business, you're going to know when you've reached a certain point, because you're going to feel stable, you're going to trust yourself, and you are going to stay consistent with what you're doing. In my opinion, this is my opinion, consistency and discipline are the highest forms of self-love and highest form of self-love. When you love yourself, you are going to do the things you say you're going to do. So you are going to post the content because you said you were going to do it. You are going to send out the emails because you said you were going to do it. You're going to follow up on proposals because you said you're going to do it. You're not going to say you're going to do it and then you're just going to be like, oh, I can't be bothered. When you say I can't be bothered, what you're doing, you're setting yourself up for future disappointment, because later on down the line, you're going to say to yourself, if I had sent the emails, if I had followed up, if I had posted the content, where would I be now? On this channel, I talk about building a digital product business, or building digital businesses generally, and also just generally making money online. But I also talk about strategy and identity shifting, and how important identity is when it comes to building a business, whatever type of business you're building. But I focus on digital business because that's my thing. And I've come to discover that identity shifts matter more than strategy. Strategy operates at the level of action. Fine, you need to put in action. You need to do the work. Unless you're paying someone to do everything for you and outsourcing all the work. So say you're a digital product seller and you have a team that's doing all the work for you. Fine, you can just kind of sit back. If you're doing it yourself, you need to put in some level of work. So strategy does come into play. But when your identity does not match your strategy, execution feels heavy. So doing the thing feels too hard. But when identity aligns, behavior becomes simpler. Just think about it. When you identify as a high earning creator, when you identify as that, when you say, I am a high earning creator, what are you going to be doing on a daily basis as a high earning creator? Are you going to spend the day complaining, moaning, not doing anything, or just doing busy work that doesn't actually reap results? Or are you going to sit down and you're going to say, right, these are the actions I need to take in order to build my business. These are the actions that I'm going to take that are going to move the needle in my business. And so you're going to focus on those actions. Let me give you an example of me, for example. When it comes to selling digital products, what I found works best for me is writing articles. I've had the most sales through written content than any other type of content. So I put a lot of effort into writing articles, and now I do videos as well. But when I first started, I was all about writing articles only, and I put all my heart and soul into writing articles. And because I knew those actions, as in writing and publishing articles, were the things that were moving the needle in my business as a high earning creator, I knew I had to do those on a daily basis. It was a non-negotiable thing. I couldn't say, oh, well, 4 weeks have gone by, I'm not going to post an article. I had to post it because those were the actions that were reaping the rewards for me as a creator. So if you start posting shorts videos every day and you notice that it's helping you to gain more clients, why are you going to stop? You're going to keep going. You're going to keep going. So imagine if you have your first $10,000 month, and you look at all the actions that you took in that first $10,000 month. You're going to say, okay, I'm a $10,000 a month creator. So what do I continue to do in the next month in order to replicate that success? Or what do I need to do in the third month to replicate that success, or fourth month or fifth month to replicate that success? You want to look at all the things you've done, and you just need to do it again. You just repeat it. I just feel like life is all about repetition. When it comes to success, it's all about repetition. Even think about it, from childhood all the way into adulthood. When you look at a child when they are learning to walk, they learn by repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and eventually they can walk. When it comes to learning how to speak, they keep repeating the same thing and they get it wrong. You repeat it to them again, they get it wrong, and eventually get it right. Learning your ABCs in school, repetition, your times tables, repetition, and even got to a point when it comes to learning your ABCs and your times tables, most of the time you're not doing it with feeling, you're doing it robotically. You know, you're just going 2 times 1 is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. You're not really get to a point where you're not really thinking about what you're saying. You're just repeating it because that's what you've been told to do. So when you first start out as a creator, or you're building something, and you want it to get to a certain level, you have to almost embrace boring. You have to embrace boredom. I mean, you have to embrace waking up every day and saying, right, at 10 o'clock every day, I'm going to post an article. Done. I'm not going to negotiate with this. I'm going to post an article or I'm going to post a video. 10 o'clock every single day, clockwork, no negotiations. It might get boring because you're like, I don't really feel like doing this today. And it's not because you don't like writing or you don't like creating content or whatever it is, because it gets a little bit boring because you're doing it every day. But I tell you what, when it comes to building a digital business, the most boring tasks are the things that are going to make you the most money. Eventually, if you don't want to do it anymore, you outsource it. Eventually, if you know you need to expand and scale, you're going to outsource those things. For example, if you're a video creator and you really don't enjoy editing, just outsource it. But you like being in front of the camera and talking, but you don't like editing, just outsource that side of things. And then, obviously you need to create the content, but you're going to outsource the rest. If you're thinking about becoming a $100,000 creator, $100,000 a month creator, are you really going to be sitting down editing videos? Most likely, you're not going to do it. You're going to outsource that to someone, pay them something every week or whatever it is, and you are going to focus on creating the content and doing other things that are going to move the needle in your business. And so, as you can see, your identity is going to shift at each stage of your business. It's not going to stay the same. You're a $10,000 creator, $10,000 a month creator is not going to be the same as a $50,000 creator, a $100,000 creator, a $1 million a month creator or business owner. They're going to be completely different because your identity is going to shift at every single stage of your business, and you are going to have to change certain character traits. In fact, you're going to have to probably leave certain people behind. That's the reason why sometimes when these celebrities do really well, you find that their friends are like, oh, they've sold out and they didn't even come back to the hood and help us. Sometimes you have to get away from that completely. I wouldn't say sometimes, all the time. Because those people that are still in the hood, kind of, doing the same thing, their self-concept is different than yours. And so you can either help them to get to the same level as you in terms of self-concept, or you're going to have to just kind of move on. It is what it is. Move on unapologetically and focus on your life. Anyway, I'm going to leave this stream, because my battery's about to die and I just want to focus on this work. But my goal was to do like 3 articles in this video, but I ended up talking a lot and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just leave this stream here, and I'm gonna do a stream in the evening. It's probably gonna be a faceless one this evening. But yeah, if you are interested in working online, doing remote tasks, I have a 1-year membership club called the Remote Task Club, and I've got a link for that in the description. You can sign up for that, and I'll see you soon. Bye.